Hey guys, Huzzy bringing you another video and welcome back to another POV commentary. So this is game 2. We are playing Anivia and we've not played actually Anivia for a very long time. As you can see here on the Admiral Banter account, we've been playing on for a few weeks. I've not played a single game of the bird, but this has to be, I would say, one of my best performances with the champion, especially that I've not played it for many weeks. Now what I did point out at the beginning there was the Kassadin is an Anivia one trick. Their name is literally like Chilling Chick. So they were an Anivia one trick. And what did that player do? Unsurprisingly, they picked Kassadin. Why? As an Anivia one trick player, they will know Kassadin is the worst matchup in essence for Anivia for a few reasons. One, Anivia can't seem to punish Kassadin insane amounts in lane phase. You know, he has a magic shield. Anivia herself isn't an amazing lane bully. She is a scaling mid to late game mage, but Kassadin outscales Anivia, so that's part of the problem. So Anivia can't punish him as much, and also in essence Kassadin outscales than Anivia. And thirdly, eventually it hits it a bit more. Kassadin's Q counters Anivia's ult. So Anivia's ult is a channel and Kassadin's Q silences channel abilities. So you can't ever really just fully have your ultimate going against a Kassadin as well. So I knew going into this, it's kind of like a two-sided coin. It's an awful matchup for me, but it's also a one trick not on their one trick. So like it depends how you define like what's going to be hard and stuff. So I muck up at the beginning there. I'm looking for auto attack pressure on the Kassadin, but what did I do is I aggroed all the minions by going a bit too far up, and I just absolutely got hammered by minions at level 1. And what you actually can see, look at my minions. Not a single minion of mine died, or maybe one, because I took all the initial aggro. It's actually a trick, by the way, that I probably need to use more effectiveness of. If you don't need to leash your jungler, let's say you play top lane or you play mid, run. So the way that waves crash onto each other, they crash onto each other, minions, and they kind of evenly kill each other. That's kind of how Riot's designed it. But if you run first, you get all the aggro of the minions, and then you run away to reset it. And meanwhile, I nearly get first blood on Kassadin. I actually thought he was dead. I would have gone for an extra auto attack, but I did think he was dead, but he didn't die. But if you run ahead at level 1, get the aggro, then run back to your minion wave, you're basically mucking up the initial kind of code that Riot's done to have like a neutral minion wave. And what you're in essence going to make happen is you're going to make all their minions focus one minion at a time, and that would make the enemy minion wave focus your minion wave a lot, let's say, more efficiently, and that would make it naturally push back to you. So that is something that I would say I need to do more of. But as for this specific matchup, in the first few levels, it is always worth knowing what you should be doing, what every player should be doing, no matter what you're playing, etc, etc. Maybe not in jungle, but you can kind of gauge it a bit in jungle, is you should be kind of getting a feel for your opponent. And again, that should have been another kill if I hit the Q. So I'm applying pressure. I want to see how this Kassadin reacts. You can very much tell he really doesn't want to go back. Probably because, again, he hasn't made, like, you know, the initial goal to even buy a tier. So he's probably just like, what's the point of even going back right now? I'm not perfectly CSing here because I'm just like, push it in and go back. Annoyingly, the Blitzcrank actually saves the day. So if that Blitzcrank, who they're not duo, it's just random. I preempt that Q, by the way, which was quite nice. If that Blitzcrank did not come and save the wave, Kassadin would have lost so many minions there, but fair play to the thingy. I was looking for the wall, which we do get into the stun because Talia's nearby. And again, we're not going to be able to perfect last hit here, but I have to push this into the wave again. You know, and forcing into the wave so it gives me time to go back. I might not even need to use teleport here. I might not. Sorry, my dog was underneath me. So, yeah, going to buy my tier, going to buy refillable, and also buy a control wall. Not a bad first buy, to be honest. I'm also, because the wave isn't not pressurizing me at all, I'm going to save my teleport. I'm going to be walking with a minion wave, which is not a bad thing. So, overall, not bad start to the game. I have missed a fair few amount of minions, but the pressure that I've landed on a Kassadin is good. And I will say I was slightly frustrated that I hadn't killed him yet, I do feel like I really should have been able to kill this Kassadin already. And that is just an early pressure. And what I would say, you know, playing many games of Anivia, and also my most common matchup is probably that I've ever played is Kassadin, because naturally if I pick Anivia, most mage players in mid can play Kassadin. He's not a hard champion to play, so most players have picked Kassadin against me. This player didn't obviously seem comfortable, and we know why, but they didn't seem comfortable. What should have they in essence been doing differently? Notice how I'm trying my best to apply constant pressure to Kassadin. Kassadin in essence can do that as well. There's very limited I can do against a Kassadin if he just decides I'm going to do a bit of damage to you. So, you know, every single Q on cooldown, every single E on cooldown, he can apply that pressure. And that in essence would then, you're basically forcing your opponent to pressure with you, and then who's going to run out of mana first. So I kind of just wander over. I saw obviously Graves clearing the Wraiths, and I don't know what happened. You know, he was just farming. He had blue buff at a weird time, so I have no idea if he was like AFK at the beginning of the game. You see there, the Kassadin was changing his mind. He changed his mind mid of my ult, I think, to be like, oh, I need to go cancel the Anivia R with Q, but then realized I'm too far away. So he took extra damage there. I also took a bit of damage to the tower. But yeah, very nice kill on Graves. Didn't expect that. So I'm not really sure why he was like there at that time, you know. And it's not like he had roughly the same farm as Talia. He was roughly the same level, so he wasn't behind. It was just confusing that he had a blue buff. I don't actually know how he had a blue at that time. So Kassadin's hit level 6, so instantly this, in theory, should become harder for me. Because like before, where Kassadin didn't have the range to stop my ultimate, pretty much every single time now, Kassadin can just R in range and Q, and my ultimate will get cancelled all the time. So in essence, what is the skill of this matchup? And in essence, what is the skill of Anivia? It's called spacing. So spacing is something that is a skill in League of Legends, and it's a lot of the time spoken about with AD carries. So AD carry spacing especially is when you're maximizing the distance between you and your opponent, and you're maximizing how many auto attacks you can get off with the correct spacing for yourself not to get damage. It's hard to do. Perfect spacing is quite a it is a skill. And yeah, this Talia seems to be really good. But Anivia, every champion has a certain amount of spacing, you know. As crazy as it sounds, some obviously champions have easier spacing than others, but like Tryndamere players just got a load easier in terms of spacing because they got a big increase in range. Before, it was harder for Tryndamere because he had to stand on top of people to do anything. Well, now they actually can be a bit further away. It technically, as crazy about to say, is easier and harder in the same flip of the coin. It's easier because it enables Tryndamere to attack more often because his range is larger. Meanwhile, the Kassadin is trying to jump on me, will get my ultimate off, and I actually force a flash. I don't think he needed a flash there. I think that was a panic. But yeah, the other flip of the coin with Tryndamere, he gets to auto attack more, but in weird nature, the longer your range is, the more, let's say, area for muck up you can have with spacing, because the perfect spacing is maximizing as much range as you have to do the most damage you have with limiting how much damage you're taking. And that's why, again, bringing up the spacing with this matchup, that's what I have to do against this Kassadin, is Huzzy Cannon. I have to be in a certain range of hit against him that I can do damage, I can get my ultimate down, but he can't instantly, at least, Q me. And even with perfect spacing, he can't ultimate and Q me most of the time. That's the trick. So I'm invading again. Why am I invading? I had a hunch that Graves was here. I don't actually know how I knew that. Again, this game, I will say, was played a few days ago. He tried to ultimate away there. I get another kill on the jungler. Not bad. I probably, again, hindsight Huzz, I probably should have finished that camp because it would be denying the enemy jungler more. But I decide Alawi is overextended. She did just kill the Jax, even though Talia was trying to help. I'm going to try and kill the Talia. Not the Talia, the Alawi. So she just takes the death, I guess, on the chin. Talia's going to get the kill. I get an assist. It works all round. So that's not bad. Matchup-wise, obviously, Jax, always a strong champion. But Alawi can be very obnoxious. No matter what you're really playing, if you're not playing amazing and you get E'd by Alawi all the time, she's a hard champion to play against. She really is. So I can sometimes, even though it's frustrating to have a top laner losing to an Alawi, I can sometimes get it. She is frustrating to play against. You know, she's very much, even though she is built, you know, some people say her ultimates are really good for team fights. If you were kind of, she's more purely built for 1v1. She's so hard to beat in a 1v1 if she consistently lands her E. If she doesn't land her E, that's her weakness. But if she does, it's really, really difficult to beat that. You can see Kassadin there using an ultimate stack to then return damage. But the problem that this Kassadin is doing, and this is where his lack of experience of a Kassadin player, he's an Anivia one trick, is kind of his shortfall, is he's doing it because he knows the knowledge of, oh, I can stop Anivia ult, and that's what he's going off. The problem is he's stopping Anivia ult, but I still then can return with a Q. I can still return with a QE auto most of the time, and voila, he takes damage. So right now you can see this is his big attempt of all in. So what I'm doing, it is worth saying, is I'm always timing, and I get the kill, I'm always timing my ultimate after he's Q'd me if I can help it, because the moment that if I press ult and he Qs me then, well, the ultimate is useless. But if I wait for the Q, which he's always going to use, well then, lo and behold, it works out. So this is a play that the Graves, you know, I've killed the Graves, I think, twice. He's going to be pretty annoyed with me. He's behind, I'm ahead, so I'm trying to use that frustration to get a cheeky kill. Don't quite get it, but we did get a lot from him. And again, you see, this guy is definitely frustrated. He's in mid, he's standing just there. And I think, by the way, I go for this, and I do. I get the little ultimate proc that gets the electrocute with an auto attack, and voila, I get the kill. And I've got egg, so there was no massive risk to that. Unfortunately for me, I think Kassadin just roamed bot lane with TP, and actually just got a double kill. That is, I will say, from the bottom of my heart as a mid lane player, if ever your mid laner has a Kassadin against them, please, for the love of God, or whatever the hell you believe in, I don't believe in anything, but you know what I mean. Don't let Kassadin get kills when he's doing bad in mid lane. It honestly, in the deep part of myself, it hurts, and I will be right back very quickly. All right, sorry about that. There was a doorbell, dog, had to help. Anyway, where are we? I've lost my track. Sorry about that. So I think we've spoken about spacing. Obviously, the game at the moment is going pretty good. I've got my Rod of Ages. Kassadin's got his, so we're both working towards that. I am right now level 10. He's level 9, so that's always a good thing. What I would say about Rod of Ages as an item, again, for those that are like, I thought you don't build Rod. You build Leandri pretty much all the time on Anivia. I do. There is literally only one exception to my rule. I never build Everfrost. I think it's garbage on Anivia, but I will only build Rod of Ages against Kassadin. That's basically it. Maybe Aurelion Soul as well, but basically, if you don't buy a Rod of Ages on Anivia against the Kassadin, and you can see the Kassadin is really trying to all in me, bless him. If you don't buy a Rod of Ages against Kassadin, you will always get really outscaled. And even with a Rod of Ages, I'm going to get outscaled. Just by how the champions are, Kassadin will beat me eventually. But Rod of Ages helps a little bit. And, you know, it helps a little bit, but also not a massive amount, because he's also buying Rod of Ages. So let's say a Kassadin scaling's up here and Anivia's is here. Well, me buying a Rod of Ages, let's say, brings me here, but Kassadin also buys a Rod of Ages, so his goes up too. So it helps Anivia, because it does make her better in scaling, but it's not, let's say, the easy fix. You know, if a Kassadin weirdly doesn't buy Rod and he buys Ludens, that will probably help a lot. But no Kassadin realistically is going to do that, obviously, because it's such a good item for Kassadin. Again, for those that are like, why? Kassadin specifically is very reliant on levels, especially level 16. Rod of Ages eventually gives you a free level up when it hits max stacks. I'm getting ganked by the Blitz. Again, the Blitzcrank did come mid quite a lot, but luckily my team was about, not looking for kills, just saving my butt. I am more than happy with that. So we'll take that as a W. But Kassadin, level 16 Kassadin, a few champions obviously are like level 16 champs. Kassadin is definitely one of them. Nice flash by Ashe. And yeah, when you hit max stacks, which takes 10 minutes upon buying the item, you get a free level up. And most game tempos, not all but most, from when you buy a Rod of Ages, which is actually usually around 13-14 minutes into the game. We actually got a fairly early one this game, and yeah, that Jax just got wrecked. We actually got a fairly early one this game. Most of the time when you hit level, or you hit 10 stacks on this champion, most of the time, and I come to help, and this Graves is so weak, most of the time you will, upon leveling up to 10 stacks, usually it'll hit you level 15, if not level 16. Quite often I will level up to level 15 with it, but be halfway already to level 16. That's usually with me. And yeah, that's a massive thing for a Kassadin. Just getting that level 16 a minute or two early can be a difference in a game. You know, having level 16 before a team fight is a difference of a Kassadin popping off and killing people and not. Anivia, again, is very good scaling with her ultimates. Level 16 ultimate is fantastic. So having that at an earlier stage is never a bad thing. I do think the overall DPS output, obviously, without having Leandries and the burn, is lower. I much prefer having Leandries, but it's that simple. So that to answer the question of, like, Huz, why do you not go Leandries against a Kassadin? That is why. It's to try and up my scaling a little bit more than Leandries would naturally give me. More stats, more tankiness, level 16 earlier, everything counts when you're against a Kassadin. The enemy team is trying to force a dragon here. Kassadin off to the side. Our Jax not grouping. Unfortunately, I do get hooked. But before I got hooked, I actually did get off a Q, and it worked really well. Rakan with a triple knockup. I've got egg, so sometimes it is worth saying, like, my positioning was a little bit up there, especially against a Blitzcrank. But I also know I've got egg. So having that in the back of your mind, I've got egg form, is a saving grace for Anivia, because what are they going to do? Like, focus my egg instead of the enemy champions that are still actually DPSing them? No. So it's kind of, and if they do that, well, then we definitely win the fight. And if they don't do that, well, I don't die. So that is one of the massive powers I would say about Anivia, is her egg. And, you know, with my history with the champion, and maybe I need to get back into playing her more and more, because we're playing really good. This game I played a few days ago by now, probably nearly a week ago, weirdly. This is not playing Anivia for, you know, a month, and I'm, you know, you could say rusty, but I think I'm playing overall pretty good. And I would say this was at the beginning of when I was starting to feel a bit rough. I think this was played last Tuesday, and last Tuesday was when I was starting to feel rough. This was like the peak of when my girlfriend was really ill. So I'm going to try and kill the Blitzcrank. For some reason, Kassadin just let me go. I honestly don't know why. He had me if he just stayed on me. But I think he got distracted by, like, low health enemies. Like, my teammates, they were fairly low health, like, over here. So, again, he's trying his best. What I'd imagine he's trying to do, if I'm completely honest, and lovely double Q there, if I don't, you know, do say so myself. Chain CC the Alawi as much as we can. I think the Kassadin there wasn't expecting to get kills. I think he was trying to slow us enough to get the Alawi involved. Graves doesn't get a kill. Yeah, that's what I'm guessing. Unfortunately, Kassadin didn't die, but look, he's back, baby. But I'm waiting in a bush, and we get the kill, and no more kills for him. Graves, again, probably feeling... I don't know if the word is translated all over the world, but we have a word here in the UK called miffed. It's when you're a little bit peed off. He's flashing, he's doing every Q direction going the wrong way. Like, he's just not had a good day, this Graves. That was a little bit BM. You know, I can't, well, yeah. One of the powerful things with beating opponents is, I've always said it, League of Legends isn't just a mechanical game, it's a mental game. And if you can beat the opponent mentally, but without being a typey, yeah, you can do it. You know, it's where, like, emotes have grown on me. You can use emotes. Don't spam them, you know, the mastery spammers and all that. That's just a bit cringy. If you time the little thing here or there, it can get to people. And that Graves is definitely tilted, and me dancing on his body there, he may not have been looking. He may have been looking at the store. But if he caught a glimpse of that, it's not going to make him feel great. And it's a bit, you know, naughty. It's a bit, you know, cheeky. But it's not crossing any boundary. It's not crossing any rules. So Alawi, I was kind of questioning what this Alawi was, her plan was, if I'm completely honest. So again, she's doing the best she can. She's in the middle of my ultimate without flash, and I just get the kill. Do remind yourself that Alawi was really, really strong, and she was absolutely wrecking the Jax. Why did she not stay in the lane with the Jax, who she was beating really easily? She left. You could argue, oh, she's left to go bot lane to go get the bounty. Sure. But that is still not her strength. Jax has stayed top lane the entire game. Look where Jax is. He's near the tier 2. He's getting pressure. If I was the Alawi and I was absolutely wrecking the Jax, I would probably stay and keep doing that because it's consistent. You know you can beat him. And obviously, you know, it is to be said, oh, the Talia turned up and helped the Jax, or the Anivia turned up to help the Jax. Sure, but what does that mean? Well, that means there's the enemy team has an advantage somewhere when it comes to numbers. If we have an advantage on the Alawi when it comes to numbers, it means they, in theory, have an advantage somewhere else. Try to use that advantage, but they've never done it. So, yeah, it's a bit peculiar, but it is what it is. So we've got, obviously, Baron. We're going to try and push into the enemy base as best we can. And in essence, again, when you have got a hyper-scaling champion like Kassadin, don't risk anything. End the game when you can. So it is worth knowing, I said about it earlier with Rod of Ages, most of the time you're 15-16 upon hitting 10 minutes. If you look in the item slot, I've got a 9 at Rod of Ages. That is 9 stacks. So upon 10 is when you get the level up. So upon the level up, I would hit level 16. So that is the natural scaling, and that's, again, the natural reason, especially why Kassadin buys it. And yeah, so that in chat there, I was very interested. So this was during a no mic, no cam stream in the evening, which I occasionally do them. And I was just, you know, curiosity killed the cat, as it were. And I was like, this Graves has played awful the whole game. Like, there's not been a positive. His spells have been a bit weird. I'm going to go have a look at this profile. He's 0-11. Yeah, he was a proper Graves main. And everyone can have a bad game, and I grant you that, because sometimes I've kind of said, what the hell? And people reply going, oh, Huzz, people can have bad games. True. But sometimes, like, when you look about how people are playing, there's the level up, by the way. Sometimes you look at how people are playing and you're like, that player must be first timing that champion. You just don't get that sense from people of, like, they've played it before. And I got that from Graves as like, oh, this guy's not played it. And yeah, he was a proper big Graves main. So overall, we did really good. Again, that is Anivia's hardest matchup, Kassadin. I think we actually did pretty good. And yes, you could argue, which is just, it's not even an argument, it's true. It's an Anivia one trick on the opponent, not on Anivia. She did pick Kassadin, which, being an Anivia one trick, she'd know is the hardest matchup for Anivia. But it also shows not everyone can just play anything, you know? One tricks are usually very limited in what they can play, obviously. But I think we also played it really well. We spaced really well. We timed our ultimates really well. We traded really well. So I think overall that was a really good game. I also invaded in the jungle, which worked pretty good too. But anyway, that's going to be it. If you guys are enjoying the POV commentaries, do throw a like on it, throw a comment, throw a subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.
Call down the reckoning to bring back hope and peace. Restore our glory to live forever. Bring down the dark regime.